Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are having a second part of abortion and parenting. What is abortion to you? What is your perspective about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone. Today I have Madam Catherine Karira, who is going to help us to understand better about how not to indulge ourselves in abortion and why it's not good for us as individuals. I will allow her to introduce herself and tell us more. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Catherine Karira. I'm a servant of God on assignment for God. And my passion in life is to make our children know before they wish they knew. And that is why I came with my children.
It's always a pleasure to have you on this set, because I always know with Madam Karira, you're set to offer a good start of learning.
Okay.
To start with,
Yes.
what are these cute things that you're having on the table?
Let me introduce my family of 4 babies.
Okay.
These are not born. They are in the womb. And as we talk about abortion, please get to know it is murder. It is a crime. It's a sin.
Okay.
And talking about parenting and also abortion, it is important for us to know that abortion does not return your daughter into a girl. It makes her a killer mother. So with my babies, I have the youngest here. This is the human story. This is only 12, 16 weeks in the womb. So when you abort, you have to know it's not about a clot of blood. It's a human being. As long as fertilization has happened, that is live. Regardless of how small that life, it is live and it's very sacred. You want to hold my baby?
No, you're still cute.
Then I have another one, slightly now older than that, 16, 18 weeks. And it is good to know that they have all the features, all the body parts are there. And this one knows even how to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recovery position.
Then we have at 22 weeks. Remember, they're not born. They're in the tube. Again, I say, do not turn your womb into a tube. This is 22 weeks. And this is very dear to me because of LGBTQ manenos. It is important for us to know at birth, at conception, the gender is formed. So nobody can come and tell me I was born gay. Never. That is, it is a lie from the devil. And at 22 weeks, if this baby is a girl, they have the ovaries ready, they have with them. And that is why, even as we talk about parenting, we have to know that introducing contraceptives to our children is not safe. Because if they have the ovaries with them, and we introduce them to contraceptives, what are we doing? We are damaging them. Then we have the biggest of all. And by the way, this is the actual weight. And you're fearing to hold my babies, you'll hold the big one. I know you're scared of the small one. This is the actual weight of the baby and also the size. This is 26, 28 weeks. And when aborted, unfortunately, this one comes out whole. And the mother will look at the baby and that will live with them. This is the one that they crush into pieces. Let me repeat again. Abortion is murder. Abortion is a crime. Abortion is sin. Abortion is not an option to consider. Eunice, hold my baby.
Thank you, I will. You know, it's not that I'm refusing to hold the cute babies.
Yeah.
It has just brought me back to the fresh memory of when I was a mother at first. Now I can remember holding my daughter day one, how fragile, how small that thing is. And I'm like, wow, so you human thing, you're just coming from me, you know. And now you're telling me if I'm to abort today, I'm aborting a real thing. You know, the arguments that have been there before, which I stand, you've corrected me this one, that as long as conception has happened, it's a baby that is being formed.
It's a baby that is
But
being
in
formed.
most of the arguments, when someone is arguing their basis out, is like, before they turn to 12, take a small one, it's only a clot. And the justification thereof is, if it's a clot, nenda tu kuosha tumbo mami.
So if it was a clot, why then wash?
See, because, you see, Like when you're giving birth, we have something that is being called, those who have complications, retained POCs.
I understand.
When you have retained POCs, it's because of the uterus, the wear and tear. So the retained one, they're still in your stomach na zina kuoza. So you have to be washed so that your womb is now clean and ready for another.
And you're being washed because
Your-
there was
your
something.
uterus.
Because there was something.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's cleaning that part. So also for this clot that is, you've said as long as kumekuwa nayo, the baby is already starting to be formed.
Good.
But it's not fully formed like the cute one you're holding there.
This one.
So I have had some people, culture, religion, saying that kama hajafika, 12 weeks is close to 100 days because those are 3 months.
3 months.
Sort of, yeah. Kama hajafika 100 days, ni clot too. And when you go to the hospital, even the doctor anakwambia, this one, if you go to those places, they'll tell you, this one is just suction. Actually, they say kuosho is suction. So unaenda unaosho, you just do suction.
Let us understand where
And
we
you're
are
born.
in Kenya. Abortion is illegal in Kenya.
True.
So even the doctor that is doing that for you, they are, can I call them a murderer or witches? Because life is sacred. And we must protect life from conception to death. And the reason this person is going to have it washed is because they know I have life. The only drawback is that we want to borrow a lie and we want to live that lie. But believing in a lie does not change the fact. It is a baby that you have made. Let me say this morning that if you make a baby, grow the baby. There's no other way. If you conceive, there's no other way.
What
Somebody-
happens, too, allow me to interrupt
Thank you.
to the fact that in most cases, women end up being pregnant without the plan. 90%, correct me if I'm wrong, or 80, you'll realize, unless you've been looking for this child for quite some time, that is when you'll say, I've been looking for a child and I'm not getting. But even when you're looking, you also reach a verge of, I'm so tired, it's not coming. And you're like, when you're giving up,
It comes.
you realize, kamesha ingia, and you're like, yo, I closed this chapter and I'm moving to the next.
That is why we need to agree today. Just because the baby is not planned for doesn't mean the baby wants to be murdered. Again, I echo my words. If you make a baby, grow the baby.
Okay.
Life is sacred, and conception can only happen if heaven agrees with your body. Yes, it is true. We have said we are searching for the baby is not coming, we want to give up. Or even the teenagers, they go out to shake a leg, then the pregnancy happens. There's no other way. You have to give birth. Because, by the way, abortion does not end on the abortion bed. It's unfortunate that they are saying it is they are expelling a stranger.
Yeah.
That is not a stranger. You made the baby. So what we need to do, let us not make that baby
But when
if
I
we
was
don't want to
growing
give
up, I
birth.
was not going to make a baby, Madam Karina.
That is why now you need to know that sex is what makes everybody pregnant.
I have a question again. For instance, if I'm going out and I'm going out to shake the leg, as you were saying it, and I end up getting pregnant, my cue, maybe I take precaution. I either took the e-pill or I either took the monthly contraceptive or the 3 months or whichever plan I'm using, but the plan disappointed. And here, the baby is here. And I'm not ready for the baby. What happens?
It was, by the way, it was last week they told us that we have contraceptives that are not working. But also I want to start from where you have said the e-pill. I want us to understand that e-pill is not a contraceptive. The emergency pill is not a contraceptive. The emergency pill has been designed for rape cases. So you cannot be taking it every other time you want to go and shake a leg. Then they tell me, yes, but now I have conceived. What will I do? Let me say this. Because abortion is murder, today I can come here and steal this glass and even forget about it. But I will never ever forget that I murdered. When we abort, that baby will come out of, will give birth to a dead baby. But in your heart and in your head, you will never forget that you aborted. So the secret is you have to plan yourself ahead of time that I don't want to conceive. But in case you conceive, you have to give that birth to that baby. Abortion, I say again, it's murder. Abortion is a crime. Abortion is sin. And now I introduce the fourth one. Abortion is a sacrifice to the gods of convenience. You abort once, the gods will make you, the small gene will make you pregnant again, then you can keep aborting for them. This morning, a friend of mine has told me to come and tell you. She's a mother of 9, 2 living, 7 in heaven. Because she aborted 7 times. She feels okay to say in heaven because it is soothing, it sounds nice. But the opposite side of that is 7 that you willingly sent to the grave.
I have a question again.
Yes, please.
Today I'm here to ask questions.
Ask them.
Okay. Your friend sent you to say to us he's a mother of 9, 7 in heaven, and 2 alive. If this is abortion, how comfortable is she to say that he has 7 in heaven? Because this is my own school of thought, I start to be corrected. The only time I can say my child is in heaven is when I had a stillbirth. Maybe you can also let me understand. For stillbirth is not abortion, it's stillbirth, and I'm not fortunate to have a child. And when I am a mother of a stillbirth or a blue baby comes after the stillbirth. If I'm a blue baby mother, I'll forever remember the stillbirth child that I got or I bore, and I'll be always mourning, and that is when I'll be saying, I am a mother of 9, 7 in heaven, because I really wanted to give birth, but I was not fortunate enough to give birth. But in this sense, when you say in heaven, now this is my school of thought, and I've said I stand to be corrected, it's not sitting well with my...
It is not. It cannot sit well with you, but when you have forgiven yourself, and you have been forgiven by God, and you realize that I did it wrong, I cannot undo what I did, but I can tell others, please, abortion is not an option. Yes, please.
Okay. So, okay. Now you've been forgiven, you've forgiven yourself, and you're walking the journey of recovery and everything. That's sorted. What happens to the person who has not gone through the journey and they don't feel the emotional attachment? Because we said we are getting rid of the stranger in my body. I don't want strangers, and I don't want to, because the moment I say yes to giving birth or to growing the baby, is I've accepted and I've embraced. If I don't want this stranger, that is where I'm washing and flashing it off. Now, mentally, how is the journey of someone who has aborted and someone who has gone through stillbirth, or we have the stillbirth, and we also have this one, the
blue birth.
The blue birth.
Yes, that one.
Is what I'm looking for.
Thank you.
Yes.
Stillbirth, the baby passed on without me having done anything. Ectopic pregnancy, the life of the mother is at risk. When the life of the mother is at risk, what happens? Now we save the greater life, but there's no greater and smaller life. But we do that. But again now for abortion, I want us to understand what abortion is. Abortion is willingly terminating a pregnancy. And people will say, as you had said earlier, it's a clot. But that whatever we are calling a clot has a heart. Even when we crush a fly, we kill it. So stopping a heart that is alive is just murder. So when people abort, they go through turmoil. Abortion is not a solution to anything. Abortion is the starting of many messes. And one of them is that they have nightmares. They would live in self-condemnation. They'll blame that doctor. They'll blame that boy that said go and flush it out. And I'm using that word flush because we are being casual with it. We flush the toilet and we don't remember how many times the day you have gone to the toilet.
Okay.
That is how simple it is to flush. A stranger is that person that we meet on the road, and strangers can become enemies or can become friends. This is not a stranger. This is a human being that you made, either deliberately or not deliberately. You went and you had sex, or it was rape. And we'll answer why even rape we cannot abort. So when you kill willingly, it will torment you. And that is why we find some of them becoming very suicidal, those that have aborted. And the reason they want to become suicidal is because they thought they were walking themselves into the clinic to get rid of this baby, but now it's not just a baby, it is a human that was living in your womb. You know, consciously I have murdered. So they get into depression, they become suicidal, and most say that I want to die to go and see the baby I murdered. And that's why I said abortion is a sacrifice to the gods of convenience. But we have not come here to condemn anybody. We have come here to say, please, if you make a baby, grow the baby. If you have aborted, let it be the last one, and seek out for help. We have people that are doing campaign for those girls that have gone to abortion and they want to heal. Healing comes. And as healing comes, you have to forgive yourself. You know, the men, they don't give birth. The men don't conceive. But they are the donors of sponsoring us to go and abort. Let me say that abortion money does not only affect the girl that has gone to abort, even the clinic. That's why the word of God says, the blood speaks. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I've given birth. And we are growing this child. For one reason or the other, now we're in the parenting part, the child is growing up either to be rebellious or not wanted in the society or in the family, because you really didn't want this child, but you're giving birth simply because you don't want to abort. Then there's this joke that is said, or rather those that you've heard before, either in a native language or in another one, you'll hear, you would have rather aborted this child than giving to a child and come to suffer in this world.
Okay.
So in that statement, you've heard it before. I've heard it, not to me, but to someone else. Either my mom saying it, or a neighbor, or you know. And here you are contemplating. If you're in such an environment, especially in the low life in terms of incomes and everything, you'll find those are statements that are given. Why keep the baby if you're not going to afford to take care of this baby? Why keep the baby if you're going to bring me the baby? Now this is a mother telling a daughter, why should you keep a baby? I mean, I don't want to help you take care of a child, and you are not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. For those also who are keeping the name in terms of status and stature, they also don't want their names to be ruined. So I understand, you know. And you're told, I'd rather you get rid of this because you're not even ready to take care of. You've even made a joke of kusema, heri ungezaa mkate kuliko
you. When you realize that I don't want to keep the baby, and then we, the pro-life, we have told you, please keep the baby, and you have come to our side and you have said, yes, I want to keep this baby. Now you have to start planning how to love this baby. They are a part of you. And the good thing with babies, it's a package. You don't conceive today and give birth today. You conceive today and there's 9 months for you to prepare. After you have given birth 9 months, there's time you're going to breastfeed them without giving them food for you to prepare. What I want us to understand is we must be very patient with ourselves on the mistakes that we have made. If I went and had a baby and it was not planned baby, let me not rush to decide otherwise. And I want us to understand, to remember what I said earlier. Abortion does not end on the abortion bed. That will live with you. Let me say that abortion is a wound that hurts bitter and painfully. Somebody told me that, Madam, when I aborted, 3 days after abortion, the breast started leaking out milk. And I said, even inside you, your body was crying. So the bigger question here is, what do I do with the baby that I have not aborted? You can love them. Even you can give them out. There is adoption. Adoption is a good option for against abortion. However, in our Kenyan law, where we sit today, the process of adoption is too lengthy. But there is hope. You don't have to kill. There's a way out.
I want us to take a break. And when we come back, we start it off from the adoption part. I would rather you adopt instead of aborting. We understand that our Kenyan government is that the process of adoption is so long and it's tedious, and also by the end of the day it's not also guaranteed if you're going to be able to adapt for those who are looking to adapt. Now a question that I'd want maybe to be helped. Do we have places whereby if I don't want a child, I can give birth and bring this child to be taken care of as if it's an orphanage, so to speak? 1, 2, whereby the guilt conscience of me not wanting this child, later in life when I've brought myself to understand I can come maybe, ama once I've given out, the child is gone and it's gone. 1, 2, the adoption part where you tell me, now I'll walk with you this journey, you give birth, I'll take the child. And it's adios muchachos, you go your way, I go my way. Because we also have, we've had issues to do with couples who cannot be able to give birth, but they are looking for surrogate moms. So by the end of the day, I'm not a surrogate, yes, but I've gotten a child. But they could be option to an adoption instead of also surrogating, or they could also ask, okay, now that we've taken this load from you, could you also be a surrogate? I'd want us maybe to look at that in a broader perspective. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am in terms of abortion and how not to do it, or to even dwell in it, or even to look for it. Send in your question. Let us know what is your view and take on the same across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
Remove my skin and I won't cry. But you might. What am I? Are you still practicing art ukifanya your engineering? Umezimix ama umeenda tu fully on art? Sasa najua, hebu kwanza tutajia, because najua wezi taja wote. Just some of the people wenye, some of the celebs wenye umeweza ku reveal your art to them.
J. Kroba, bibi yake. Hiyo siku walifurahia mbaya. Na mimi nilikuwa emotional mbaya sana.
Lilia.
Go and check that video, guys. Nililia mbaya.
I was seeing kuna place ulikuwa unasema like Biendo alikusaidia sana in building your career. Unaweza tuambie hiyo moment when ilikuanga?
We.
Water remains to be the world's most precious commodity, but is the most misused. In times of drought, saving water is the only solution to making sure you have it. Don't use the shower when water is scarce. Instead, use the basin while bathing. Repair all leaking taps and pipes. Wash your car only whenever necessary. If not, use a piece of cloth to wipe it clean. Do not use the hose pipe to water your garden. Instead, use the water you clean your vegetable with to water your flowers. Do not release wastewater into rivers. Note that your downstream is someone else's upstream. Of all the waters available on Earth, only 1% is fit for human consumption. Every drop counts.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap year. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about abortion and parenting. And just in case you're joining us, we're in the second part of this conversation, and you've already talked about how not to do it, and from conception, that is a child, and when you do abortion, it's murder. And today we have babies on the set that you're going to see. They're cute little things from 12 weeks to 20 to 36.
To 28.
To 28 weeks. They're so cute, and you get to see and also know that you're really not doing justice to your body and to yourself. So before we went on a break, Madam Karira, I had asked a question in terms of surrogating and also preferring to give out the baby after you've given birth. Instead of abortion, you opt for adoption. And also, some people, they are not open to adoption, depending with where you're coming in terms of culture and how you're brought up, but you said it's a better option than abortion. So take us through, please.
Let's start with surrogate mothers.
Okay.
I think Kenya, we don't hear a lot of it. And somebody could be asking, what is this surrogating mother? A surrogate mother? A surrogate mother plays a role of housing the baby. You get somebody's baby, or you get their whatever into your womb. You carry the baby for them. You're just a vehicle. You're just a house. The same way this morning, I can take an Uber. I'm dropped at the gate. I come here. That is how surrogate business is. I'm given a baby, put in my womb. I carry it. And it's a good package, by the way. Because the surrogate, the person that has contracted me to be a surrogate mother, they'll foot all my bills. They'll even pay for me house rent, house girl, whatever clinic I go to, they are their bills, even the food I eat. Then we sign a contract. Of course, now when it comes to a contract, there's legal, there's a lawyer, and the doctor I'll see. Then we agree when you give birth, you're not even going to see that baby. I walk out that door, and the money comes to me. And it's not evil.
Okay.
Yes. So the other question was what?
The adoption and the abortion.
I said that adoption is an option instead of abortion. Don't kill. By the way, even at family level, you can agree. Because in every family, there's somebody that may not have their own baby, or there's somebody that wants an extra baby. Don't abort, don't kill that baby. We also have orphanage, we have children's home, where we hear they have little babies, they have infants. Don't abort. We know also of cases where mothers give birth and they leave the child into the hospital and they wade away. What you need to do is speak it out, and I'm sure it is always better. However, remember, this is a baby that you have carried to term for 9 months. This is a baby that you have felt kick. So you may need to bring somebody into, you have to go for therapy to know how to live without the baby. But please do not throw that baby into the bushes. Do not throw that baby into a pit latrine. Remember, there was some year back where a dog rescued a baby along Gong Road and even crossed the road with a baby. Please let us save the babies. If you don't want a baby, don't make a baby. Yes.
You've said something very interesting, but at some times it's very also difficult for us to go through that trajectory. You've mentioned at a family level, you can be able to give birth. For instance, I always like using myself as an example. So if I give birth and I didn't want to have a child at this time, maybe I have an auntie or a cousin or a relative, close or distant, who's been looking to have a child, but they're not able to get a child for one reason or the other. If today I give birth and I give them this child to take care of and to be their parent, in most cases, it doesn't work because there's that sense of, when this child grows up, you'll come back to say, this is my child. Because we've always had that back and forth. Even for the single parenting, you'll hear a woman or a father saying, but tuliacha mtoto akiwa mdogo. Why is after this child has made it in life is when you're coming to say, this is my child. So there is always that the fear of unknown and the fear of when this child is growing up and is doing well, even in terms of behavior, and you're able to see, you're like, that is my child. And then it feels like, especially from a family level, you've done me a very huge favor.
It's a big one, by the way, because we have given you our baby. And it's a better one because you have saved me from killing. However, we need to be able to make it legal.
And who is doing who a favor?
You have both of us. It's a win-win situation. I would have been a murderer. You have helped me not to murder, and you did not have a baby. I have helped you. It's a win-win. But because it's live, we cannot be casual. We have to do it formally. But what we need to do is protect this baby. And as we talk about now doing it formally, we can also borrow from the Bible. Because I am a believer, and I believe in this God that protects life. Baby Moses would have died. Baby Moses was placed in River Nile. And the Moses was taken to Pharaoh's home. And the mother took care of the baby. What we need to do is that we have to have a long time. We have to understand who a child is. A child is our future. So we must make sure that whatever decision we make that decision to protect this child. We cannot afford to mess with a child because the child is the future. Let us come to parenting, where we said about protecting the family name. The statistics that opened this debate of talking about abortion is because they told us educated, married, Christian women are the ones that are aborting most. And I was like, the worst that can never happen is to have a fool that is educated. Because they have told us educated, married, Christian women. So I'm asking myself, which education is this that we have acquired? Then I'm also asking myself, why are we in marriage aborting? And somebody will quickly say, Catherine, I have a baby that I'm still breastfeeding and I have another one. I love it when I come here because you always refer to your cases. One of my brothers, Andrew, was born on the 13th of January. Nahashon was born on the 27th of June next year. So my mother must have conceived when this baby is only 5 months. I want us to know that abortion is not a family planning method. Abortion is not a family planning method. And we think that when we abort, we are stopping giving birth. When you abort, you're going to give birth to a baby that you have killed. Because when you have murdered that baby in your womb, the baby either, what you said, wanaoshwa, anatolewa, the baby will come out. So abortion does not stop you giving birth. Abortion makes you give birth to a baby that you have murdered, a baby that will never leave your heart and your head. Again, let me say my lovely words. If you make a baby, grow the baby. Now also we want to protect the image of pastor's wife, chair lady, and my daughter is pregnant. What will I do? If you're so born again, you would have seen her before she went to have sex.
Wow, that's so
you'd
harsh.
You have known that she's sexually active. Now you're here reacting by murdering. And I remember another lady, you might know who she is. She told me, Madam, I'm pregnant. And I told her, but you have a husband. Then the baby disappeared. I'm sure she aborted. But who is God? Her son, who was in Form 4, impregnated a girl who was in Form 3. The baby still found itself to the lady's house. So, as I said, abortion is a sacrifice to the gods of convenience. Even when your girl becomes pregnant, do not abort. And that now talks about parenting. As we parent, we must make sure we understand the times that we are in and the generation that we are parenting. The Gen Zs have told me this morning, we are expelling a stranger. So we have to understand their language. We have to come to talk to them. As we parent, we have to understand what the younger Gen Zs are telling each other. Mavajuni Farah. We have to tell them that sex is what makes cute girls pregnant. We have to tell the boys that even a 9-year-old boy can make a girl pregnant. So they have to know that sex is not a play game. We have to be able to speak out, because even when we don't speak, Google is speaking. Talking about that again, because you talked about we want to protect our family name. It's unfortunate that defilement is on the increase. Another day, I'm sure you may not have heard that, of a mother here in, is it Roiro, who has burnt her daughter because she burnt the daughter's private part because the daughter came and said, I'm being defiled. By who? By your partner.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What do you mean by your partner? The stepfather?
The stepfather.
Oh.
The stepfather. We also know of real fathers that have defiled their children. And somebody asking now, my Catherine, tell me, if my husband defiles my daughter, you still wanted me to tell me to give birth? What happens now?
Ni watoto a lot. Hata mimi nitakuuliza hiyo swali.
Ni kweli.
Unataka tulete Sodom na Gomora kwa nyumba?
Kabla sasa before we kill this, would have made sure there's no defilement.
How would I know there is defilement? Because in most cases, you never know there is defilement. Because remember, the victim who is being defiled is being threatened. They're not in a position to talk. And this one that we are not even able to say, or the victim is not able to come to talk to you, like now the case you've just mentioned, the mother burning the daughter.
Let me tell you, Nesoamogo.
Yes.
There's some instinct in a mother.
Na kama hauna instinct, Catherine.
Kama hauna.
No,
there's an instinct in a mother.
Do you have a relationship with this,
there's
your
an
daughter?
instinct in a mother that will tell you something is not right.
How?
By the way, do you know, even before your boyfriend comes to put you in a box, you know, yule kijana ananiona, ananirega. If you want to listen to your intuition, you will know. But now, they have not known until the girl has come and said, I'm being defiled. Then they pour hot water on her private part. Let me say this. A partner, let me call them a boyfriend. A boyfriend that is being casual with your child is not a lover. He is a pedophile. He is a predator. So we cannot assume that we are going to keep our marriages at the expense of the life of our children. We become casual and we say, the child will heal. The child will heal from this defilement. But I want us to understand that defilement is a thief of self-control. That is why, unfortunately, when somebody has been defiled once, chances are very high for them to be defiled again. So we cannot afford to keep quiet to protect the family name. And if you know that, or even you suspect, is that book that is called Who Moved My Cheese? Let us be parents that sniff. Unanusa. I normally say you have to have eyes that will hear. Now I'm saying you have to be a nose, to have a nose that itanusa. It's unfortunate that when defilement is happening in the comfort of our home, the neighbors will know.
Before I even get to the neighbors, Madam Karira, you asked who moved my cheese. You have to have that nose.
You have to
you
do it.
know, we always say a mother has intuition, or women are born very intuitive and they have that, the sixth sense.
That one.
Of sensing
one.
there is
That
something.
one, yes.
But again, not every woman has the sixth sense. Because it has to be, this is me, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
It has to be nurtured and grown. Because when African culture where if my daughter comes and tells me something, I always see my daughter as the enemy, ama ananidanganya, especially depending with the age. Because remember, these who are ending up being the victim, marami, if it is age 6 or 9 to like 12, you listen.
Let me say
and
this.
you'll say, my child has been
We
defiled.
all have intuition, only that some of us, our best color is red. So we are not able to tell the difference between a red flag and love.
So Gisha, let her to your best color. Yo. So how do you... Anyway, I want us to take a break. And when we come back, we start it off from there. Because most of the victims, me, I'm still on the victim part. Because you even you as a counselor, when you're meeting these victims, or when you're meeting these parents that are the children have gone through the defilement part, they'll tell you. Because especially those who are like teenagers, at that time is the stage where they are very rebellious, they are not listening to you. So akikuja kukwambia, you're like, this is an excuse for not doing A, B, C, D. And you brush it off. But whatever they are telling you, it's very serious and you don't take it into action. Again, we're also in an African setup whereby wazazi hatuambiwangwi na watoto. Ni
That is
sisi
why I say,
tunaambianga watoto.
as we parent now, we have to understand the times. Hii kitu ya Afrika imepitwa.
Okay, sawa.
All right.
Tuko? Kama tuko Africa? Oh, when we come back. When we come back, we'll learn if you're in Africa or not. Viewers, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
Program, then they advise to continue for AS and A level. AS typically is a 1-year program, and A levels is done in the 2nd year after completing the AS level. And this one equips the student with the knowledge that is recommended for the university and also by employers outside the countries or within the country.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about abortion and parenting. Just in case you're joining us, we're in the last segment. You can just catch us on. And we are talking about abortion and how it's not good for your health and also for your mental well-being and also as a person. Interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So before we went on a break, we are just asking a question. Where are we? Because you said gone are the days and we are not in that African
Thank
cultural
you.
setup.
We are in the era of technology,
Okay.
where even a little small girl knows how to operate their smartphone more than mommy and daddy.
Sure.
So even as we talk about taboos, they also know those are called myths that are past of time. So what we need to do is be real and realistic as we parent. And we also need to know how can I know that defilement is happening in the comfort of our home? And we said we all, as mothers, we all have intuition, only that some of us, our best color is red, so we are not able to see the red flags, but we saw them. That is why we want to cover up. So number one, this child is going to be withdrawn. This child may also be very aggressive. You can also look at and see any traces of injuries that are not explained. A little child, regardless of how small they are, they will resist any sexual advances. So at that struggle, let's pick a 4-year-old baby girl. You will hold them, yes, by force, but there will be something that you're going to see after. There's pain when I'm going to the potty, there's something. If we opened our eyes, if we want to sniff, we'll be able to sniff. What we need to do is never wish away a predator. Because when we wish away a predator, we enable the predator to prey more on the children that are with us. So those that want to go and shake a leg, those that want to fad that lavish lifestyle of our teenagers going out for bashes, we need to know that is in those bashes that our teenagers going to, and common sense is bashed out of their heads. We need to have the hot talk where we are very honest. It is true, Sue, you have to go for the bash, but this could happen. We have to be very open with our children. We have to be very truthful. And because you're talking about parenting and abortion this morning, we have to be very truthful that if they make a baby, they have to grow the baby. So the question that we need to ask our sons, and I have said our sons, is, are you ready to become a father? If they say they are not ready or they are ready, their responsibility to come up with that. Then we have to talk to our girls that a pregnancy is not a stranger. And a pregnancy is not flushed. I said we forget how many times we flush the toilet, but we cannot forget how many times we have aborted. So as we talk about parenting this morning, we have to be parents that are deliberate. We have to be parents that are intentional. Then I also need to talk to the doctors and the chemists people. They are also parents. When you sell P2s to underage, you also have children. And the good thing that your children, as a doctor, my children, as a mentor, they meet in the school. They will share notes. So we must make sure that we are a society that cares to protect and preserve life. And I want to ask a question, Eunice. Assuming you were aborted, I was aborted, the camera crew, they were aborted. This morning, what could happen? There would be none of us. So as we make our choices, we must make choices that are going to protect life. Let me say it again. If you make a baby, grow the baby. As a parent, what are you going to be? You must be hot such that no nonsense misses your nose and your eyes. They may not see, they may not say, but you can hear even what is not said. You must be very real. You have to come to the space of your children. Whatever little you hear and you watch, magnify discuss with this generation. This generation is an asking generation, not a told generation. So we have to make sure that we are hot, real, we have to be very realistic. 4 things that I keep saying when I come here. As we parent, we have to tell our children. Tell them the current status quo. Tell them how many girls have died because of abortion. Tell them how many girls have aborted, and whatever we are calling clot of blood has remained in the womb, such that they start rotting from inside. Tell them how many girls are fighting depression because they aborted. As you tell them, touch them. Touch them to tell them that there is an inappropriate touch and appropriate touch. As a mother, I can hug. Don't allow a boy to come and hug. As a mother, I can hug my son. Don't allow somebody to hug your child. Let them understand of inappropriate touch. As we do the nursery school songs, can we do it together? Head,
shoulder, knees.
Let us not jump to the knees. Let them tell them the breasts are also a sex organ. And actually the breasts are written in the Bible. Song of Song 8:8 says, we have a young sister and her breasts are not grown. Let us talk. Also tell them about their private part, so that by the time you're coming to the knees, and by the way, the knees, now who cares about the knees anyway? Even I can see yours. Yeah. So as you tell them the head, shoulder, let me say it what I normally.
There's a new song. These are my private parts.
I normally tell them macho yangu, masikio yangu, mapua yangu, mdomo yangu, roho yangu. Unajua roho ndio unasikia roho yangu, matiti yangu, kitovu yangu, bele yangu, nyuma na sio makalio, unashika pale nyuma yangu, mapaja yangu, miguu yangu, mkono yangu, gozi yangu isitumiwe vibaya. Even as we tell them about these are my private part, remember the eyes are going to go and watch pornography. When the eyes have watched pornography, private part iko na joto. Na joto ya leo ni majuto. So we must make sure that we are not just telling them, these are my private part. Let them know how the private part are wired to the entire body. So we have said tell, then we have touch. We have to teach them. We have to sing it quite often. And I pray that we that are Christians, we that go to Sunday school or church school, as we tell them about Father Abraham, we must make sure that we also tell them about defilement. We have to discuss about what is happening here and now, because that is not happening everywhere. It is also happening in Kenya. So we have tell, touch, teach, train. Train ni kama ile gari ya moshi. So that mama, you know that your boyfriend is not a family friend. Yeah, your boyfriend is not a family friend. We have had boyfriends that have come and sodomized our sons in the comfort of our homes. And as we talk about parenting, we have to make sure that even the young adult, anybody that walks in through your door, a child that comes in your door as their home, they are children. Whether they are 29 or 32, as long as they are living with you, you must make sure that boundaries are set. Because we have heard over boys that are having sex with their small sisters and brothers. A sad one. This mama, she gave birth to a son, and she tried searching for a baby that never came until 9 years later. So the son was 9 years old. This son grew up knowing mommy gets tired, mommy does the kitchen work. So when the babies came, mommy also delegated the bathing of the baby to the 9-year-old. And the 9-year-old did well. By the time mommy is getting another child, the 9-year-old is 14, this one is 5. and they have a smaller one. Unfortunately, one morning, that mommy has told them, and then Mukaoge, Johnny, take care of your siblings. The girl is 6, the other one is 2. Mommy goes to the bathroom, and she gets pornography being acted in her bathroom. The boy, now do I say it? You say it yourself. Unajifanya
boy
umeokoka.
how-
The boy now is 14, 15. The sister is 6-year-old, another one 3. The 6-year-old is literally wamunyonyi wamurabe in the bathroom. The mother asked me, Mommy, what do I do with my children? Please do not delegate. Days are gone when the firstborn used to be the mother. You can imagine if your firstborn is wicked, if your firstborn has been feeding on pornography, they are practicing it on your children.
It's so sad.
Sad and real.
Yeah, so real and also so sad.
Yes.
Especially, you know, this conversation, we've had it before. And this is the question I always ask you. I'm a mother.
Yeah.
This is happening in my house.
Yeah.
Now, who is going to take responsibility? Do I go jail my 14-year-old son? Do I go jail my 14-year-old daughter? Where am I going to take this 14-year-old? What are the counseling? What are the measures? What are the... How am I supposed to do it? Because it has already happened. Yamezoleka. Sasa
Ni kweli.
nitaokota aje.
Ni kweli. Let us now even bring it a little bit closer home. What happened where we are. This girl is 11. The brother is 14. They live in that room that is called Everything Together is Our Home.
Yes.
They have watched enough pornography. They have been practicing what they watch, and they made a baby.
And this is Sodom and Gomorrah.
And it is, they made a baby. So one thing we need to understand that these two, because it's 14, 11, they are minors.
14, 11, they are minors, Karira.
That's okay.
I'm the mother.
That's okay, before I bring you. These are minors, but legally, they are defiling each other. So both of them can be taken to court. Both of them, because they are defiling each other.
Okay, you've taken both of them to court. As you are winding up, I'm
Yeah.
being told that you we have to wind up. And you're also saying abortion is not an option.
Yes, it is
As
not
a
an
mother,
option.
As
It's
a
not an
mother,
option. It's an
advice,
option.
yeah?
It's not an option.
So what do you want me to do?
The girl will give birth. That is why we need to have been
Then huyo girl
intentional.
unamwambia baba yake ni nani?
That's why you need to have been intentional and told them that sex is not a play game.
But you
between
remember-
siblings,
you
between
remember-
strangers.
You remember, this is a conversation that our parents were not brought up with. Actually, talking about sex is now we are coming out of, even as media people, we are coming out to talk about sex boldly. How am I going to parent my child? Mwenye mimi sijaiongelelewa sex, even at this age, I can't talk about sex with my
That's
mother.
how we take it to the
Niende.
Bible. By the way, the Good News Bible, Proverbs, today I don't have the Bible, I carry my babies. Proverbs that 1 verse 4 will say, do not spend all your energy on sex. Let your child read that. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 5 on the Good News will say, a time for kissing, a time for not kissing. The Bible is the manual of parenting. It is there.
Last word.
Last word is that we cannot parent the way we were parented.
Sure.
And we must make sure that we don't compromise on discipline and manners. And we must make sure that in everything that we hear, whether negative or positive, we make it a sounding narrative to send warnings to our children. As we parent, we have to inform. As we parent, we have to give them fact. As we parent, we have to give them warning. The warning today is abortion is murder. It's a crime. If you make a baby, grow the baby.
Viewer, let's continue this conversation online across all our social media networks. That's GPS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Till next time, have a nice time. Goodbye.
Everywhere, GBS.